what's up, guys? Another episode of Know Your Worth TV. Another special lady. Are you guys? I'm not even tired of seeing all these ladies. These beautiful ladies are entrepreneurs that are in the business of entrepreneurship. That are just we're just here to highlight in partnership with Content Creators Experience. Thank you guys so much for collabing with me, trusting me to take your vision to the heights that you guys wanted to take. And today we have someone very special to really talk about her company, how she got started, and what's really the meaning behind the business as well. So we have Miss Ninekema. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for having me today. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to know. I was actually, being a detective, I went into your page and I see what you do. And I'm like, okay, we definitely got some questions for you today. So Miss Ninekema, what is that elevator pitch that somebody asks you, who is Ninekema? What do you do? What is your answer when someone asks that question?
Perfect. Well, I've been practicing a whole lot, so I'm
Yes.
definitely ready for that question. Hello, everyone. My name is Ninekema Turenne. I am your finance bestie. I am South Florida leading mortgage broker, and I'm also the CEO and founder of Not and Key Co. We are a wedding planning and financial planning company. So, what we do, we help couples plan their weddings while saving for the down payment of their home to help them build generational wealth.
Nice.
This is
And how,
me.
how do you do something like that? Definitely by the way rehearsed that. It looks like, right? You rehearsed it a couple of times.
That's what I tell you. I'm ready.
You in the mirror saying this a couple of times for sure. But no, people actually don't have that prepared. So for you to
Yes.
have that prepared is dope because in a quick second you don't know who you're meeting. And I think some people forget to do that and highlight yourself, right? You put in so much work, highlight that every single time someone asks that question. And you did a phenomenal job. So thank you there. But we definitely want to talk
Yep.
about the company, right? The company is called Key and Co. How did this business get started?
So not in key co. So the whole idea behind this business, well, as I mentioned earlier, my career is a mortgage broker. I do mortgages. That's my day to day career, my profession. However, my passion is wedding planning. And I've been in mortgage for about 10 years. I believe about 2 years ago, I was just feeling uninspired and I called a colleague and I was just telling her about, we always talk about our goals and our dreams. And she said, I was, because, with mortgages, it's really stressful to say the least,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're
Sure.
dealing with finances and, the ups and downs of people's emotion when they're buying a house. And she asked me, she said, Nikema, what is it that you really really love? And I was sitting at my desk and I took a moment. I'm like, I like a lot of things because I'm very creative, but I had to really take a step back and think about the one thing that I truly truly love. And I was like, I took a moment. I said, I asked myself that question. I said, what is it that you really really love? And I said, I love wedding. And Efren, when I said that, like my whole face lit up. And that's when I knew that was the thing that I truly, really, really love is wedding, because I've been helping friends, plan weddings, plan events since I was like 14 years old. I planned my own wedding. I did this whole thing for free, really. So that's really a thing that I'm really passionate about. And then I was like, man, I can actually do both because I love weddings and I love mortgages, although, I was feeling uninspired at the time. It doesn't mean that I don't love it. I love educating people about the whole process. And I was like, well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to marry the two. So this
I
is
love it.
how this is how it came about, because our tagline is tie the knot, turn the keys, right? So as you're going through that process of the journey of of planning your wedding, because I remember when I was getting married, I didn't think about the future, right? I didn't think
Hmm.
about the after the wedding. At Nike Cole, we tell you it's not just about the day, it's about the legacy that you leave behind. It's not just,
Yes, ma'am.
the wedding, right? So we all focus about the wedding, but we don't focus about marriage. So we really think of our agency of a marriage planner. We don't even call ourselves a wedding planner because we're thinking about the longevity of the relationship. So why not have this conversation up front? Why not build your financial household while you're planning the wedding? So this is where this idea came about. And I'm just really excited about building this revolutionary company.
I truly love it. And you said your company, how long have you been doing the consulting agency?
So really we started, the idea came about 2020, but we're really still in our infancy, right? Can say that we're just really getting things up and running, this year, really.
So, because just listening to you, it almost like you've had this planned forever. Like it's almost like it was just really destined to be. So, for you explaining it to me, I don't know how. I mean, you said it kind of started early 2020, and then it's really still an infant. So you're really kind of delivering at this point. But it seems like you really put this together. You really had a business plan. Was this something that you kind of written down before you actually executed, or once you made that comment to yourself and you lit up, you kind of everything just started
Mhm.
falling into place?
Yeah, so once, as my background is in finance and I have my master's in business. So after the whole idea came together, we had to put everything, on paper to see if it's viable. It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. So we had to sit down and think about who our client avatar is, who are we gonna, target. So yeah, so definitely we had to do that to plan the business. And yes, so we took time to write out our business plan to see how we're going to. And as I mentioned, we're still, building the business to see how we're going to bring the idea to market. That's what we're doing right now, is to build this from scratch, from ground up. We know
I
what
love it.
it's worth.
Yeah.
We know what it's going to do. So we're doing all of the background work, and it's important to have this platform, to encourage people, to let them know, hey, don't be afraid, just start. Because the one thing about me, it took me, sometimes I get upset at myself. I'm like, why it took so long? Because I'm such a perfectionist, right? I just wanted everything to be so perfect, but I had to get out of my own way. And really, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think sometime this year, I can hear it clearly, as and I hear God tell me, Nikema, I've given you this idea, and if you don't execute it, I'm gonna give it to somebody
Oh,
else.
come on now.
And when I heard that, like literally now I'm just like running, okay? Like I'm running. I'm like, listen, I said, God, you might as well kill me if you take this idea away from me, because this is like my brainchild, right? And it happens so many times to so many creatives. Is we have these, billion-dollar ideas that we just sit on it and we think we have forever, and we don't. We do not have
Mm,
forever. So
you're
we have
right.
to take action like right now and just build it. And it's not going to be perfect. I'm going to make mistake, and I'm allowing myself, I'm giving myself grace to just, to just build this thing and see it come to life.
Like, Kim, you talking some good stuff. Like you're giving so many key points when it comes into you becoming an entrepreneur that people don't
Yes.
realize it. But I really want to go back to the first one that I heard was business
Hmm.
planning, right? And I say
Yes.
that because I'm a person that has all these creative ideas, but I forget to write them down. I'm just like, oh, idea, execute. How important do you feel it is to actually create a business plan before getting started into business?
Yes, it's very, very important, because first you have to know who you're talking to, how you're going to earn money. The whole thing about, yes, this is, I love wedding and I love mortgages, but how am I going to make money? How is this thing going to be profitable? How is the day to day operation of this business? All of those things are important. And as small businesses, we fail to take that one step. It's like we want to bootstrap everything, and it doesn't work like that in the real world. You have small companies and you have mid-sized to large companies, and all of those companies, they have a plan of execution, and it's very, very important. We can no longer take our businesses as a side hustle. We have to
Mm,
treat it like a real business. Like this is a real thing. And I to tell you the truth, I'm building this company. I already have my exit plan. Like I love this thing, but your girl, I'm ready to
I
exit.
love
Okay,
it.
like
I
I'm
love
ready to
it.
go. Like I don't want to hold on to this thing. Like I'm ready to build it and be like, I'm out. And we don't even think about that when we're building a business. It's like, okay, how do you see yourself 5 years from now? Do you want to build something where you can sell it? Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to build a $1 billion company and get my billion and go. So these are things that you write down in your business plan. Like what do you see yourself? What do you see your company? And just stop treating it like a game.
You're talking some good stuff right there, girl. You got so passionate when you're talking about it
I'm
too. Like,
passionate. I'm
listen.
very passionate. Really, I am. I'm very, very, very passionate. Everything that I do, and that's why I say everything that I do is with love, right? Lending. When I speak to my clients, about getting a mortgage, it is all about love, right? And I just love love, so that's why I'm building a loving company. So
Yeah,
this
I
is
love it.
me.
So one of the key points was that you said business, creating that business plan. I think it's very important for those that are trying to create a business to kind of go into that mindset. Even myself, like I say, I mean, I've opened and closed businesses, and I think a lot of times I closed very early because there was not a business plan. So that's why I wanted you to highlight that. Very, very good information. Another thing you talked about is execution.
Yeah,
You're a perfectionist, but realizing that not everything is going to be perfect. You got to go execute. Create the plan, execute. Let's talk
yeah.
about being a perfectionist for those that think, oh, I got to be perfect, so I can't do what I got to do. What do you think about that?
So for those people, and I'm talking to myself, there's somebody with less talent than you making way more money than you. You know
Yeah.
why? Because they took action, right?
Mm,
Even with bad lighting, they showed up, right? Even with a raggedy website, they showed up. So these really separate the winners from the losers. And I think, we use procrastination. I think only losers use that as a crutch. And I'm like, I'm not a loser, right? I can't sit here and say, oh, I need to have this perfect website. I need to have this and that. No, I need to take action. I need to say, okay, well, if I said I'm going to do this, I need to go ahead and do it. So I urge you, if you want to start a business, the first thing, as I said, is to, and there are so many different resources out there to help you bring your, to help you with your business plan. Just tap into me, and I can give you access to those resources, and just really start. Because if you start now, and a year from now, you're going to be further along. But if you don't start, you'll never know. How can you know what to change if you don't start, right?
yeah, you're right. Nakima, you talking game right now, Nakima. You
Well,
just
you
dropping
need
it
to have me
right
on that
now.
show, bruh, as your co-host.
Nakima, this is good stuff. And I think, and I'm pretty sure you see a lot of people like that, right? That they're wanting to do something and they're kind of contemplating and they are procrastinating. And
Yes.
good information you said here is like, listen, some people are just executing, but you have the talent. And because you're sitting around, somebody is taking your spot at the table. So you have to go ahead and execute, all right? And learn in the process. And that's actually what I really loved. We talk about the business plan. Those are some of the things I've actually learned because I executed very early on in my time, right? I was 19,
Hmm.
20 years old when I started my business. I'm
Hmm.
32 years old. I won't make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
I've learned from them, but I'll continue to do it over and over and over again. Because, like you said, those that are not executing, you're going to continue to complain about the same exact thing and you're going to see yourself go nowhere, right? You're
Yeah.
56 years old now to
Hmm.
asking yourself or telling yourself, man, I should have done that, or I could have, or I would have. Stop saying would have, could have, should have, and actually do. All right. So I love
Yes,
what you're
that's
saying right
we
here.
yeah,
You
we have to
dropping them.
go ahead and do. We do.
Yeah.
We have to go ahead, and it's so funny. I was speaking to a friend of mine earlier today, and she's so talented, right? She loves to cook. And I was just telling her, hey, what is stopping you from doing this? Like, you know how to do it, and you're just sitting around. I said, now I'm going to keep you accountable. You're going to just start with just selling plates from your house. Like, just
Mm,
start with what you have. Yes, you want this nice restaurant, but if you don't have the capital to do that, you can start from ground zero. And that's what we need to do as entrepreneurs, as creative, is start with what you have. And I'm sure you can tell us stories about how you started your show, right? It wasn't all perfect. Look at your lighting. It's so nice, right? But did it
yeah.
start like that? Did it start like
Mm-mm.
that? No,
It
it
didn't.
didn't start like
No,
that, right? So
you're right.
you took action and you started. It's all about just really taking action. So we only have 2 months left, a month, right, left in the year. And first quarter is, you just have to plan for next year and say, okay, if
Yeah.
you didn't really start for this year, I'm sure a lot of us had goals that we didn't accomplish this year, but it's never too late because you're
Yeah.
given a second chance.
No, yeah, and I will go back to what you said about how I started. I probably didn't start with any lights. I started off on a cell phone. Then I got a light, I got a camera, I worked on my backdrop.
Yes.
But yeah, it took me to kind of learn things as I go. It took me to do some research, and YouTube University is such a thing. Like if you don't know something and you feel like, well, how do I supposed to do this? There's so much information. Nikema says she's, you can, there's resources, right? You can reach out to Nikema. She's willing to go ahead and help. But I really want to go back into just you and what you do. You spoke about first about the mortgage company.
Yes.
How long have you been doing mortgage?
So I've been doing mortgages for about 10 years. I started as a loan processor. So the loan processor is the person who helps the loan originators, right? So when they get all the documents, they review it and send the loan to underwriting. That's what I was doing prior. But then I realized that they were making the money and I wasn't. And you know me, I'm the finance girl. I love money unapologetically. You know, I have no shame in my game because you can't do anything without money. My middle name is Cash, okay? For those that don't know. So then I'm like,
Okay.
oh, okay. So I'm doing all the work and they're getting all the money. Okay, we need to switch that around. So I went ahead and got my license to become a licensed loan originator. So I've been doing that for about 3 years now. Yes, I've been an independent mortgage broker. So I'm under a big brokerage, Nexa Mortgage. They are in Arizona, but they are licensed in 48 states. So when someone come to me, I'm able to just look at their income, and find the best lender for them because I can shop over 170 plus lenders. So you can consider me as your personal shopper, right?
Yeah.
One credit pull, and I can give you access to so many different lenders. And we have, different programs, down payment assistance, investor loan, conventional. We do everything.
Mm, I love it. No, I actually just went through the process. I just bought a home, so I
Oh,
know. Yeah,
congrats.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. So I know the work that you guys do
Yeah.
as a lender and what you guys are really very, very helpful if you take
Yeah.
your job serious. All right. Not everybody's going to do the job as good as Nikema and my lender. But definitely hats off to you for you to do that because you're also in the giving, part of things. So here you are still giving in the other business. So
Yes.
when we talk about not in key, right? Is that
Mhm.
correct?
Yes, not
Um,
in key.
what the consulting agency is not
Mhm.
just about trying to find somebody. Like when I put the description here, and for those that are watching either on Facebook or they're watching on YouTube, the description talks about, getting engaged and then helping you with mortgage. Is that all the consulting agency does, or is there more to that?
So yes, so what we do is, we say you get engaged, you contact us. We plan your wedding, and while we plan your wedding, we get you ready to buy your first home and you live
Mm,
happily ever after. So this is what we really are all about, is really helping you plan that process. This is our specialty for now. Okay. We can always, go into a different direction, but our goal is to just really be your best friend. I go by, the finance bestie because a lot of times, I don't know if you're married, but sometimes the brides, right, they do not think logically. I was once a bride. I know how they think,
mhm.
right? They want, the $50,000 wedding, the $100,000 wedding. You can have that, but at the end of the day, after you have that 50,000 or you spend $100,000 wedding, where are you going to live? Right? Are you going to live after you get married? Are you going to go back to an apartment? What's going to be your living situation? And I tell you, I would say 90% of couples do not even think about that. They don't even think,
Yeah.
they don't care for that. But having someone that can be in the forefront and be on the table and say, hey, where are you going to live after you get married? And
Hmm.
raise that
Yep.
question. And it doesn't have to be right away. It could be 6 months, it could be a year, 18 months, 24 months. But guess what? Once you have a plan, you're going to be able to execute that.
Yeah.
But if not,
Absolutely.
it can take 10 years and you're married, you have no home, you have no legacy. It's about really building a legacy for your children. The fastest way to build wealth in I would say in anywhere in the world is through real estate. And having, being a mortgage, I understand that two is better than one, right? Having two income will can qualify you more than if you were single. So why not leverage each other's income and to build something for your family? right? Your children. So this is something that you can pass down to your children when you buy your first home. And your first home does not have to be a dream home, but it's something. So this is
Yeah.
what we do. We just really bring that conversation up front that nobody wants to talk about. Some people are gonna talk behind your back. They're gonna be like, I've heard it all. Trust me, because I go to weddings all the time, right? Some people got married, they got this lavish wedding, blah, blah, blah. And then they don't even have a house. Okay, so that what you want people to talk. And I'm sure maybe you don't care about it, but I think we need to be in a society where we have to care about these things.
Yeah.
This is your life, especially if you have children. You should just not just think about the wedding day. You need to think about the days after.
I love it, girl. You is on it. I am loving everything
You
that
need
you
to just put
said.
me out there to the world, Ephraim. We need to tell the world about this. We need to amplify our message. This is our company's goal for, the first quarter of 2023 is we just need to amplify our message by any means necessary, because especially young people, we need them to understand the power of financial stability. And another reason why I'm building this company is because we know that financial problems is still the number one reason for divorce. Whether we want to talk about it or not,
Mhm.
it's still an issue. People don't understand each other's love language. I mean, financial language and the same money language, but they still get married, right? And there's this dysfunction of how people manage money, right? People don't understand. Okay, you might get married to someone and they're very frugal, and then the other person is a spender. We need to have a medium. One is not better than the other, but we need to understand. We always encourage our couples to have money dates, right? What are money dates? So just
Yeah.
like you would go on a date to have fun, well, we need to bring out the bank statements and go through them line by line and see where our money's going. If we don't manage our money, if we don't tell our money where to go, we're never going to be able to have these achieve those short-term goals, long-term goals as couples. And that's what we do at Nike Code. We bring these conversations. We talk about the uncomfortable conversation when it comes to money. It's not all about the lovey-dovey.
Yeah. Nakima, listen, I don't even gotta ask questions. You just talking right now.
Taking
I like
over.
this.
Okay,
I
I'll go.
like Absolutely. I do want to talk about something though, Nakima, because people don't realize this, right? So I want to go buy a home. I actually, like I said, I just bought a home.
Hmm.
And I had an idea. Me and my wife had an idea. We're getting this 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom. And I knew that I can qualify until that could came time to figure out what that mortgage looked like, right?
Yes.
And then I was like, y'all want me to pay how much a month? Oh no, that's not in my budget. So then, I kind of got shut down a little bit, and you mentioned it, so I want you to talk about it.
Okay.
When my lender told me, "Hey, listen, buy a home. It's not your forever home,
Hmm.
right?" He says you can go ahead and take the equity out of that home and so forth, so on. I want you to elaborate on that part of this is not your first. I mean, this is your first home, not your forever home. So, kind of talk about why you say that.
Perfect. Yes. So the reason I talk about that, because especially now with the age of social media, right? People feel like they have to keep up with the Jones, right? They
Mm-hmm.
feel like, of course you go on, if you follow these platform where they showing you these home HGTV and you seen all these people. Listen, your girl here, I love luxury. I want a multi-million dollar house. You better believe I'm gonna get that. But am I ready for that right now? No, we're working towards that.
Yeah.
So you have to take a step back. Even if you want $250,000 home, but if you can only afford $250,000 house, that's what you're getting now. Because as you mentioned, that mortgage payment is key. Are you going to be able to afford that mortgage payment? Because when I do my day-to-day mortgage lending, financial literacy is at the forefront, right? I always educate my client. I always tell them, even if two people can afford the mortgage, even as a couple, you should only base that mortgage payment on one income, because you never know what could happen to anyone. Someone can get sick and you're not able to pay the home, because I want to make sure that you stay in the house, right? So that's important. So that's the reason why I tell people, hey, think about the mortgage payment. So the mortgage payment, if it's less, so then you have to think about the purchase price might not be as high as you would want it to be, because you're not able to afford a higher payment, because the higher the purchase price, the higher your mortgage payment, right?
I
So
learned that.
think about where you are and just be real with yourself. You don't have to impress anybody but yourself, because I want to tell you something. When that mortgage payment is due on the first, although you have a 15-day grace period, but when the 16th hit, they're going to call your phone. And when you're not able to pay that those are real issues that you're going to have to deal with. Nobody on Instagram is going to send you that mortgage payment, baby, that you think you're trying to impress with a nice home.
Facts. Yes.
Right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
think about, after you pay your mortgage payment, are you going to be able to eat? There are other things, there are other expenses, yes or no, that we
Yeah.
have to consider after a mortgage payment. So this is the
Hmm.
reason why we encourage our clients to not buy their first home. It's not going to be your forever home. And you may have to just not have the nicest house that you would want. And I'm actually in the process of buying another house right now, and I'm have to tell myself the same thing. It's so funny, right? Because I'm a friend. I'm real. When I
Yep.
tell my clients, I do it myself. I'm not going to tell you something that I don't do. And I'm like, oh my God, Nakema, I know you want the $1 million house, sister, but we ain't there yet, right?
Yeah.
So take
Absolutely.
it down a notch and just get what you can for now and build this $1 billion company, and then you can get your $1 million house. It's going to happen. So this is just, and the beauty of life is, you're supposed to be progressing, right? So where you are right where you are today financially, prayfully, 5 years from now is not where you're gonna be. So anything that you desire to have, if you do the work, you're going to have it, but you just have to do the work. But just be okay with where you are right now and be comfortable and do what you can right now. So this is why we encourage you to get what you can right now as far when it comes to buying a house.
My human, we've only been 30 minutes. And I swear you just dropped just this whole thing. If
They
people is not
better they,
listening,
they better tap in.
they better tap in. They better tap in. You really dropping good information. And I truly think people need to, understand that, especially if you're wanting to buy a home and you're saving for this home. Because I'm just speaking from experience.
Yes.
I kind of got a slap in the face when I walked into this home, and I'm like, yeah, this is a beautiful home. Let's go ahead and figure out what this mortgage rate is. And when I seen that, it's not just the mortgage, right? You spoke about other things that lead to that. How about the
Yes.
homeowner's insurance, right? How
Yes.
about the tax on the house that you have to pay? How
Yes.
about the electricity bill? And you don't take that in consideration and having some funds left over, right? You want to sit here and put all
Yes.
your money, but are you going to have funds left over to continue to manage the house as well? So everything that you said is literally I testimony to that. I've
Mm-hmm.
experienced it. I've had to kind of settle a little bit for less, but like you said, it's
Yes.
not my forever home. I can build what I have here, build off of it to gain more, and do that over and over and over as long as I want to get to that $1 million home. Um,
Exactly.
and believe it. You spoke
Yes.
about, right. You said, hey, I'm going to have that $1 million home, and it's because you're speaking it to existence. I
Yes.
believe that it's going to happen because you
It
have to
will.
also believe what you say, not just believe it, but execute while you're at it. Because a lot of people think, oh, I can just say it over and over and over. But if you just sit on your couch saying it over and over and over, it's
Mm-hmm.
not happening, right? There's some execution that goes behind it. So that's good. I love it. So let's get back
Yes.
to the company. That was good. I love the
Okay.
mortgage part.
Yes.
I can definitely tell that you're an expert at what you do. I can see the years
Yes.
of experience just
Yes.
shining, girl, just coming out.
I'm just glowing. Thank
I
you.
just see it. But this business, man, I really do enjoy it. Is it something that you're doing on yourself? Is it something that you're doing it with a partner?
Yes, so currently I'm the only I'm that's my business, but I'm not by myself. As I mentioned to you, I'm building a company, so which means that I have a team of people. I have advisors, that are helping me bring this to market
Nice, nice.
currently.
And
Hmm.
have you found any? maybe I wouldn't say so much struggles, but maybe roadblocks that has led you to realize, oh, okay, well, maybe I got to pivot a little bit, or maybe I got to do things a little bit differently. Have you seen any roadblocks in this business?
Currently, the only thing I've found to be a challenge, because I like to the thinker of the company, right? So it's just the staff, right? So having the right team
Mhm.
members has been a challenge for me, because I want to be able to delegate some things, because although I can do social media, but I don't want to do social media, right? Like I would rather someone do that. That's been a challenge right now. We currently have another team member that's taking control of our social media, but that's been a challenge for a very long time. And we just had to pivot. We had to invest. Right. So
Mhm.
when we had to interview other people who can, other contractors who can help us with that, although it was at a higher price point. But guess what? We had to do it because we believe in what we're doing. And we know that I don't. I can go to Canva and whip up a couple graphic, but that's not what my zone of genius is,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
just get me in front of a camera, and I'll
Yeah.
talk about my company. I don't want to be in the
No, yeah.
background. So these are things that entrepreneurs have to think about: is if you want to be successful, it does take money to make money. Right. So that's been one of the challenges, but we've been able to overcome that. We're just seeing, and we've seen progress. Our social media presence, our page is growing. We get a lot of engagement, so that's a plus because we haven't been able to do that on our own.
I like the honesty, right? I like that you say, "Hey, I can't do it all by myself," and I'd rather put my time and energy into something that I know I'm more of an expert at, and
Yeah.
allow somebody else to do what they're an expert at.
Yes.
And it like you said, really investing in yourself. A lot of times you see, they always like to use the Amazon effect. People think it's just
Mhm.
going to come next day. And it's not really the case. You have to really put in the time. You have to, like you said, find the right people that believe in your vision and see your vision. I think that's
Mhm.
also important. So I appreciate you also being real on that. Say, hey, listen, I can go to Canva and I'm pretty sure I can fix something up, but it ain't as good as the next person. Let
Yes.
somebody else do that. That is good. That's just their forte. Let me
Yes.
just be the voice of it. Let me go ahead and just kind of do that part. So that's good for those that are entrepreneurs, taking that in consideration that you cannot play every hat.
Yes.
However, you might have to play those hats until you can get to the point where you're able to then invest. Um, Another good thing would be you could have easily left the 9 to 5, right?
Mhm.
And strictly went into the business and said, okay, I'm gonna do this 100% of the time. Or you're still balancing the both. Is that correct?
Yeah, so with my career, I'm still a business owner, right? Because I'm independent.
Yeah.
I'm an independent mortgage broker, but that's the bread and butter that's going to be able to
Mhm.
help me build Not in Kiko. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of
Mhm.
times I hear it all the time, and I hate when people say that bashing 9 to 5. Who's gonna fund the business?
Yeah,
Okay, like, can
exactly.
we use somebody else's money to fund our goals and our dreams and our businesses?
Mhm.
Allow the 9 to 5 to do that. You can slowly transition. And there are people who are very successful and have successful businesses and they still have a 9 to 5. So let's not do that anymore. And let's just be smart, right? A lot of times you see that small businesses fail is because they're just not smart financially. They're just not smart financially, right? You cannot quit your job if you have not been making money in your business. Okay.
Mhm.
Think about that. Are you able to hire someone? Can you even put someone on payroll? If you're not able to do that, you didn't keep your job, okay? And you
Yeah.
still have to think about having a savings account for your job. Think about what happened in COVID, right? A lot of businesses went under. Why? Because they didn't manage their money properly. So these are important things to think about if you want to start a business. It's not always all the glitz and glam that they make it. And I'm so happy for your platform. Thank you so much for having this platform where people can really come
Absolutely.
and,
Thank
and
you.
just be real about business because it's a facade, right? It's all the fakes out
Yeah.
there, right? Making it seem like it's all pretty. No, it's not pretty. Some days you want to quit. You don't want to go through it. You may not have the money to do it, but you just have to keep pushing. You have to just keep pushing and keep your 9 to 5 for at least 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, I
I,
always say keep that 9 to 5 until you can actually make the money that you're making now, right? And then you can go ahead and make that transition because you're already making what you're making now. Now
right,
you know a little bit more comfortably. You can make the decision. So absolutely.
right.
And again, those are decisions that I mean, some of the things that I've even made as
Hmm.
in the entrepreneurship world, where I
Yes.
decided I'm gonna take my 401k out. I don't
Hmm.
have a plan. Remember we talked about the business plan? I ain't have no
Yes.
plan. I done left my job. Don't get me wrong. I learned from it. It was a
Yes.
learning lesson. And I always tell people like when we talk about taking an L, it's not taking a loss, it's taking a lesson, and
Correct.
figuring out what you don't do the next time, and
Hmm.
how you better yourself. And sometimes we have to go through those mistakes because sometimes we're just hard-headed individuals, and that's just probably
Yes.
that's just how we are. But we're giving you the knowledge so you don't make those mistakes. At least to me,
Correct.
I went through those mistakes. So we're here just kind of feeding you, letting you know that those people that you see are business owners, it didn't just happen to them. It wasn't just something that was gifted to them. They literally
Yeah.
had to put in the work. You don't see the behind the scenes, and like Nakima's giving you like, hey, this has not been easy. It's not just me. I had to
Hmm.
find resources. I had to find people that can help me on my journey because
Hmm.
I have a gift doing one thing, somebody else has a gift doing something else, and we're going to go ahead and partner up to make this a bigger, ordeal, a bigger business. So I appreciate you being honest during this
Yeah.
platform and just letting people know. Um, who was Nikema when she was young? Did she know this is what's going to be life, or did she have different plans?
Yes, it's so funny. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about young Naikima, right? So there's so many different things. I'm multi-talented, right? The first thing I wanted to do, I think when I was like, well, I always knew I wanted to help people. My background is psychology, right? And I knew
Wow.
that I wanted to be a psychologist. I have my psychology degree. I have my bachelor's in psychology. I use that on my day to day. That's how I'm able to relate to people. I counsel. This is where all of that comes from, right? But I wanted to be a fashion designer at one point.
Wow. Okay.
I love fashion. That's another brand that I have. It's on hold right now because I'm building Nike first, one dream at a time, right?
Yep. Yep.
One
Yep.
business at a time. So that's what I wanted to do. And then I wanted to be a psychiatrist,
Wow.
right? But I had to go to medical school, and that was not for me because I am afraid of bodily fluids. It makes me sick. I cannot even stand to be in the hospital room. So
Yeah.
that's when I knew that that was not going to work out. I said, I'm not going to put myself through medical school and go through all this thing to be miserable. So that's when I stopped, and then I went and got my master's in business. And that's how I got into business. After I got my psychology degree, and I was trying to look for a job in psychology. And when I tell you, Efren, nobody wanted to hire me because I didn't have experience. And I was so mad because I'm like, how was I supposed to get this experience while I was in school? Okay, I
Yep.
was a student, so I had no experience in psychology. I got upset. I was like, you know what? And I got a job at a bank, my first job at a bank. That's how I got into banking. And from there, I just went and got my master's in business. I realized, okay, I really love business. So let me just learn a little bit more about it. And I got my master's in international business. So that's where it really all started. But I've always been driven. I always know that I want to be successful. Has always been Nikema. That's always my light has always been shining.
I love it. No, I mean, when you talk about I love to help people, you didn't know how you were going to help people. You thought it
Yes,
might have been psychology, so you kind of went into that field. But in reality, it was prepping you for this moment. And I think
correct.
sometimes we forget that what we're doing is prepping us for something even bigger than what we can even imagine. Right? Did you
Mm.
imagine this? Did you imagine that you'll be doing this business of Knot and Key?
No, and one thing you want to know a funny story, and this is a 10-year dream, right? And I can talk about it now. when I finished graduating from I moved from Miami to Jacksonville. I was living in Jacksonville, and a friend of mine, we were supposed, after I got my bachelor's, I was supposed to move back to Miami to start our wedding planning business. And that didn't work out, and I
Wow.
really just put all that dream on the back burner and went to something else. And now I believe this is the right moment, because it
Yeah.
could not have been any better with what I'm doing, because absolutely nobody, I know the copycatters are gonna come, but listen, they don't have what I have, so I'm not afraid. Right? So
I
because
love it.
nobody is doing it like that. There's absolutely no one. I've done the market research. There's no one that's doing that. So that's how I know that God, as you mentioned, was preparing me for something greater and bigger. And I would not have it any other way. I would not have it any
Yeah.
other way. All of my experiences, all of the challenges, all of the obstacles is what's going to help me build something so wonderful. And I'll come back to talk about it, right? So this is going to serve as a memory, right? So when we build that, we know that our company is going to be $1 billion company. When we get there, we're going to look back at this day, right? November 10th, right? Today's
Yep.
the 10th.
Yep.
We're
Yep.
going to
Remember
look at
time.
November 10th, 2022, when we had an interview and we were talking about this goal, this dream, this baby that we have. And when we actually birthed this baby and we're watching it grow, we're going to be like, man, we said that on air, unafraid, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. And that's what's so good about, being able to do this is that we are speaking, right? We're speaking life into
yes.
the business. We're speaking
Yes.
life. And one good thing I loved about it is that you said life has come in a full circle for you. And maybe
Yes.
at the moment where you wanted to start this business 10 years
Yes.
ago, you were
Mhm.
hurt, you were devastated, probably asking
Yes.
yourself why, God, right?
Yes.
Not really knowing, but here you are 10 years later in a full complete circle, more
Yes.
knowledgeable, more ready,
Yes.
and just really focused at this point, right? Because sometimes 10 years ago you probably weren't as focused as you are today. You didn't have the people in your life that you have
No.
today. You didn't have the knowledge that you have today. So I'm that was touching, man, that you even
Yeah, I
shared
was.
that
Oh my God, I'm about to
today.
cry. Let me stop, because I felt the tears
Yeah.
coming, and I just let me stop, because one thing, and I think God. There's this song that I love. I can't. I think it's Lauren Daigle. I'm not really sure, but I believe the lyric says, "What if your blessing comes to raindrops?" Right?
Mm,
Because sometimes God is just gonna give you the raindrops in the bucket, and then eventually it's gonna overflow, because He hears our every word, everything that we desire. He wants us to prosper, right? He said,
yes.
above all, I want you to prosper. I'm a woman of faith. I have to bring God into everything that I do,
Absolutely. Let's do
right?
it.
So, and to me, I always say that to myself. I said, Nikema, if you had the wedding planning business 10 years ago, you would have never gone into mortgage, you would have never had that experience, and you would never be able to bring something like this. So I welcome the detour, and I welcome all of, like you said, the experience, the knowledge, and I'm more business savvy. I was not this business savvy 10 years
Yeah.
ago. I probably would have built $1 million company, and I would have burned it to the ground. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about that,
We
right?
wouldn't be having this conversation, Akima. We would have
Yeah,
been having this conversation.
listen, I would not, all of the things that I have now, I wouldn't have it, and I would not change that for the world. I'm more ready than I was 10 years ago. And
Mm,
now God says, Nikema, you're ready. And I'm ready. I'm ready to bring this to market. So just, follow us, stay connected to us, so you can see all of the beautiful love stories that we're going to create through financial empowerment. That's what we
mhm.
do. That's what
How
we do.
crazy. Bringing both your loves and passion together. I love it. You can
This
see this is
this is
something, yeah, you can see this is something that's been boiling up. And like you
yes.
said, I have not seen something like this. When I was reading the title or how
Mm-hmm.
you were able to like, hey, are you engaged? Let's go ahead and talk about not just the wedding planning version of it,
Yes.
but how you can also start to buy your home and how that,
Mm-hmm.
works. And even just me repeating it, I'm like, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Like it
I mean,
makes
what do
perfect
people do
sense.
after they get married, right? They buy a house. Hello,
Yeah,
somebody.
yes,
So
it makes perfect sense, and you're able to really do both of the things that you love at
yes.
one time, which is, hey, let's go ahead and help you create this the best day of your life, but let me also continue to help this best day of your life by doing more. So now, just reading it before you went this interview and doing the research on you, I
Mhm.
thought like, wow, this makes sense. I love how she just put this together. So definitely, Nikema, I believe this is going to work out for you. I think
Thank
it's going
you.
to be the billion-dollar business that you want it to be.
Thank you.
You look more than prepared. Just listening to you this whole conversation,
Thank
you are on it, girl. You are definitely
thank
going to
you.
see that. And I only wish you nothing but the best
Thank you so
on that.
much.
However, it is Know Your Worth TV. We can continue talking for a long time, but I want to respect your time. You're a
Mhm.
businesswoman. You got things to
Yes.
do. So I want to make
Yes.
sure that I respect your time. However, let's talk about who is not like where can people follow you if they want some
Yes.
consultation. Let's talk about those IGs, those websites. Where
Yes.
can people find some more
Connecting with
information?
me.
Yep, exactly. Where do we find that information?
Yes, so definitely if you want to connect with me, my name I'm on Instagram and Facebook. For my personal Instagram, it's Nikema, my first name underscore my last name Turenne. You can, friend. I'm always looking for new friends. So as you're watching this, as you're watching the replay, be sure to follow me. Be sure to stay connected to me.
Mhm.
And for my business page is Not in Key co on Instagram, and we're also on Facebook. So go ahead and give us some like if you engage, if you have a booth thing, like you need to stay connected so you can know because we're gonna have a 21 questions series that you should be asking your fiance, your booth thing. You need to know what to ask. So stay connected to us so that so that you can get yourself ready for that next step. And thank you so much. And if you wanna buy your first home, you can visit. I didn't forget to tell you earlier my website financinglegacies.com. So that's where you can go and get all of the information for to buy your house and get pre-qualify. I'm licensed in
Mhm.
Florida. However, my company Nexa Mortgage, we are licensed in 48 states. So if I'm not able to help you, I can find another loan officer bestie who can help you. And
Nice,
again,
nice.
I am you got it.
I got it. What is the website? What is the website? You have a website
Okay,
too. Not in key.
financing legacies. I'm gonna put it in the chat for you. That way it'll be easier so that
Yeah,
you don't miss
no problem. How
anything.
about the website for not in key? We got the website
Yes,
here.
so it's yep, it's I'll put that there. It's easy. It's notinkey.co.
And you can see
So
all that scrolling down at the bottom. You see her website scrolling down at the bottom. If you catch her Instagram down at the bottom, so make sure that you guys are taking a look at that. Let's see. Let me go ahead and make this thing so they can see it for those that are actually watching live. We can definitely. This is what we do live right here. This is making sure that we showing
yes,
love,
we
showing
showing
love
love.
here. I
Thank you. I
got you.
love the love. I love to be
Here we
connected
go.
to
This is
your
the website she just
platform.
talked about right here, financinglegacies.com. You guys can go ahead and visit that if you are looking to buy a home. As she said, she's licensed here in Florida. So if you're living in Florida, you're looking to buy a home, you know who to reach out to. Nikema, very honest, very transparent, very loving and caring, and really wants to make sure that you can, get into that home. Again, it's not your forever home, but making best financial decisions that you can. So thank you so much for that. Um, I also want to talk about. You ready for this question?
What? Listen, we had a little prep. I hope it's I'm playing. What
Taking this,
is it,
Sylvia.
brother?
Sylvia said blessings. Thank you. You ready for this question? Listen, this is the $1 million question right here. I always
Oh
you all know
God.
your worth TV, and I feel that everyone should know what was that know your worth moment that made you realize this is it. This is what I want to do. I have a passion for it. I love it, and I'm going to either do this or die trying.
So, I mean, I know that, early on, I realized that I have a gift, right? And I realized that I cannot die with this gift. So I have to share it with the world. I just have so much love to give, and I can give it through service, right? Because I'm in a service-based business. So I know that my gift is to give it to the world because God bless me. I have to bless others with what I have because I know that I can make a difference in my industry because not all loan officers are created equal. And that is the reason why I know that if someone come into my company, either to buy your house or to plan your wedding, you're gonna taste the difference. Like you're gonna experience the difference when you allow me to serve you. It'll be worth your while because I'm worth it.
There you go. Come on. That's that know your worth moment. Nakima, I appreciate you
I
so
know
much.
I'm worth it, honey. Do you know,
Yeah.
I have a co-working space in North Miami. I had a client who came to visit the co-working space today, and then she was just vlogging, and she took the camera and she was like, "Okay, say something about the business," and I was just like, "Boom, boom, 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 boom," and she was like, "Nakima, you're so ready to go." I said, "Sister, I am ready to go. All right,
At
just
all
put
times
the
of the
camera
day.
on." And I'm ready to go. You just can't be afraid. You can't be afraid. Like, and I told her she's also a business owner. I said, who's gonna sell this business but me? Like, who can talk about your business but you? Like, who can talk about you but you? So that's how know your worth is all about. It's like you
Hmm.
have to have confidence. The world will tell you to slow down a little bit, dim your light a little bit, blend in a little bit. No, when you walk in the room, you have to let people know I'm here, right? When I go anywhere, they're gonna know Naikima was here, and I'm gonna leave an imprint. Like, what's my legacy? I'm talking about legacy, legacy, legacy. Like, what's my legacy? Like, I want people to remember me as someone that was bold, that was fearless. Like, she said she was gonna do this, and she actually did it. Like, that's my legacy, that's my worth. And I can't, and I said, God, please let me live a long life, because I want to live to see that day.
Nakima, you've been amazing.
Just
I
have
thank
me
you
back on the
so.
show, bruh.
Yes, I got you. 'Cause we can go on forever, but truly, like, I hope that people, if you didn't watch this live, that you go back and watch this. This will be on YouTube, or if you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Make sure you're subscribing, that you're liking this information. Drop those comments. But thank you so much, Nakima, really for
Thank
doing
you.
this and just really feeding. I always liked when I do these interviews, to make sure that we educate people and that we entertain and we elevated. I believe we hit all three of them today. I definitely
Thank you
do
so
truly
much.
believe that we hit the three E's. Guys, thank you guys so much. Before we leave, I also want to make sure that you guys are following the Content Creators Experience. They do have an event here in Miami, December 17th. It is a Creators Connect Gala. So if you're a content creator, and you want to be around other content creators, this is your chance here in Miami at the PS Social. Again, it is December the 17th. You can visit the contentcreatorsexp.com for more information. I'm still trying to make it to Miami. I'm not located in Miami, but that's the goal, is to make sure that I get my nice suit and tie, that I'm ready
Oh,
for this event. So if you're wanting an event to get your nice on and get your hair slayed, and for those men to put those tuxedos on, this is the event that you want to be at. But again, Nikema, thank you so much. Content Creators
thank
EXP,
you.
thank you for allowing us to even collab here. I think that
Thank
we're
you.
definitely going to see Nikema build that $1 billion business for sure. She's
Thank you.
amazing. Go follow her on all her social media platforms. My name is Efrain. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys. Love and prosperity.